Hey FlossTube, it's Shelly from Proverbs 31:22. Coming at you in the new year. Today, I don't know what today is, January the 13th, 2020. And it's been about a month since I did a video. Sorry for the glare, I'm trying to, oh well, it is what it is, I'm sorry. Just ignore it if you can. So anyway, I'm off work today, so I wanted to come on and do a video, kind of catch up with what's been going on with me. Had a nice holiday. Just had a quiet day at my daughter and son-in-law's, and had fun with the grandkids. And then the next day, the 26th, we went down. When I say we, me, my husband, and our younger daughter, Lakin, went down to Louisiana for a visit. My husband had gone a couple times on just little quick weekend runs, which I physically cannot do that. Not while I'm working. I can't just go down real quick and come back up and go back to work. It's too hard on me physically. So it had been a couple of years since I had been, and my dad's been in the hospital recently, and so I hadn't seen him in a couple of years, and my nephew is now living back in Louisiana, so we got to visit with him and his girlfriend, Dawn. His name is David. Also got to see my niece, Jerry, and her children, which I hadn't seen them, or my older brother. We all got together, that clan got together to have supper together, lunch together. And it was nice. I hadn't seen my brother or his kids since my grandmother passed away it's going to be 5 years, I think, in February. So it had been too long. So it was nice to get to see everybody. So anyway, I was just going to talk to you about, show you haul first, and then talk about 2019, sort of a recap, and then talk about 2020 and what plans I have for the new year. So haul. I forgot to show this on my last video, but Jan Hicks of Jan Hicks Creates did a giveaway, and from Fat Quarter Shop supplied the Bringing Home the Tree Lori Holtz chart, and I won it. So I got this before my last video, but I just forgot to share it. So if you don't know about Jan, be sure to check her out. Beautiful stitches. She also has an amazing beginner cross stitch series that she is currently in the midst of doing, and I've learned a lot just from watching her on those videos. Even though I've been stitching for a while, it's nice to sort of go back to the basics and get a good foundation of different cloths, different threads available. So be sure to check her out, and I will link her in the description box below. So I had that came in. I don't know if I showed the November Sew Sampler box, and I've already busted it open, which these blocks with the blue and the green, those are from the November box. So I can't show you like intact, but anyway, this is what was in the box. I think maybe I did show this because I remember that little needle minder. But anyway, I started working on the quilt. So, and then for Christmas, I think the December one came in just before Christmas, and I was good. I wrapped it and put it under the tree. And so it is Lori Holtz. We got let's see what they call it, a 10-inch stacker with the a petite 10-inch stacker with the vintage Happy 2 fabric, which is really just so cute. I mean, come on. This is like washing instructions for clothing. I mean, aren't these just the cutest prints? So very nostalgic. Look at the little clothespins. So we got that stacker. We got a pattern to make a little table runner using the fabric. Plus you also need background, borders, binding, and backing, of course. We got the little point protectors, which you can use on scissors and knitting needles and crochet hooks. Any kind of sharp object you want to protect while you have it in your stitching bag. And then we got this little quick press seam roller. I actually have a couple of these, so I don't know, I might give this one away, but I did see some stuff online, people saying that I saw like one person, maybe two, that said that it was leaving grease marks on their fabric, so that's not cool. But anyway, I was excited about that because it's super cute. Let's see. Also got, this came in a few days ago, the newest Floss Fix from Fat Quarter Shop that has 6 skeins of classic color works, and they have a different color every month. So this month was Cornflower Blue, and it includes Cloud, Blueberry Tart, Blue Beadboard, Deep Blue Sea, Morning Glory, and Old Blue Jeans. So I love that. That's helping me really build up my stash of fancy floss. Fat Quarter Shop had a couple of sales during the lead up to the holiday, and one of them was a 40% off on books. So I snatched up some books that had sort of been on my wish list for a while. I did want another one, the one by Carrie Nelson, Pen Pals, but they were sold out and they weren't getting any more. But this little book, Pretty Handmaids by Lauren Wright, has been on my wish list for a really long time, and I've pulled the trigger on that. And then this one by Susan Aki, who's also a cross-stitch designer. Quilt by Color, Scrappy Quilts with a Plan. I love the way scrappy quilts look, but when I try to do them, I hate the way they come out. So that'll maybe break me out of my comfort zone and give me a little bit of help. And then Rainy Day Sewing by Amy Sinibaldi and Christine. I'm not even going to try to say the last name. I have no clue. But it has some really, really cute projects in it. I mean, look at that. Little cross stitch. Which I didn't even realize it had cross stitch in it, but yay. Let's see, what else is really cute in here? Oh, this little, this is cute, that you could use to hold your project bags in. I actually need that, and I'll show you why in a minute. And isn't that little cute little Johnny Appleseed quilt? So pick those up, and let's see. So for Christmas, we usually buy for the grandkids. My husband and I usually buy for our kids also, but they don't buy for us. We do like a name exchange where we draw names amongst the 4 adults. the two of us, 5 adults. The two of us, our 2 daughters, and then our son-in-law. We draw those, and then that's, but we always buy something. I don't know why I'm saying all this, but anyway, we always buy something, a little something extra for our children. Even though they're adults, I don't know, I don't know, it always kind of strikes me as odd that parents stop giving to their kids for their birthdays and stuff when they become adults. I don't know, maybe that's just a hang up that I have. And so anyway, I want them to feel special and not like, okay, now you're grown, you're not my child anymore. Which I know that's not what people are saying when they do that, but anyway, my hang up. But anyway, my older daughter said all of that to say that my older daughter picked my name, and she knows me so well. When we're the boys, of course, opened their presents, and they each got a diffuser for their room that also has nature sounds on it. And I remember her talking about buying that for them, and I asked her to send me the link. And so when they opened it, I was like, did you send me the link for that? Because I don't remember, like, did you just send it and then I forgot to go buy it or what? And she's like, no, I didn't send the link to you. Well, she got me one, and I don't have it to show it to you because it's in the room plugged in. But she did also get me some LSU items. So she got me this cute bracelet that has a beautiful blingy LSU charm and a mom charm. And then the little clasp is also heart, and that's so pretty. But she got me that. And then she also got me this shirt. You can take the girl out of Louisiana, but she'll always be a tiger. And that is just me, 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 me. So I love that. I was excited about that. So while we were in Louisiana, we always go to the local Walmart and pick up, our game team gear. Oh, I got threads all over because I've been gathering stuff, but I got this one. Ready for the game tonight. And I'm pulling for the LSU Tigers. I know it's 2 Tiger teams, so let me say that. I love Clemson, but tonight it's all about the LSU Tigers. And let's see. Got a new Saint shirt. And years ago, Walmart in where we're from, the Walmart, well, there's actually 2 Walmarts now, but the Walmart where we always went was the one in Bayou Vista, Louisiana. And years ago, they actually had high school t-shirts. And so I picked up one for my high school, Morgan City High School. And this was, really a while ago. And it's developed like holes, and stuff. And so I can't wear it out anymore or anything, but I've always wanted to get another one. Well, Walmart doesn't carry them anymore. And every time we go down, the little sporting goods store that I knew would have one is always closed. So when we drove down on the 26th, we stopped and saw my dad, and he lives in the town where Skipper's Sporting Goods is. And so I was like, let's go past there and see what their hours are. So they were open the next day till like 1 o'clock. And I was like, we're getting up in the morning and going, and I'm getting me a Morgan City Tiger t-shirt. So I did. So I'm excited about having that again to wear around town and out and about. They didn't have a whole lot to choose from, and I really wanted, like, our colors were white and green, and I really wanted something with the green. So they had this Morgan City Tigers blanket that is made out of sweatshirt material, and it is so soft. Love it. So I was excited that I got to snap that up. Funny story about the Morgan City T-shirt that I got years ago when I was able to wear it out and about. I wore it out one day. My aunt was living with us at that time, and we needed to go to the Social Security office to do some of her address change and things like that. And while we were in there waiting, this young guy came in and he saw my shirt and he said, and it didn't have Louisiana on it, it just said Morgan City. I don't remember exactly what it said on it, but anyway, he said, "Is that Morgan City, Louisiana? This is in Florence, Alabama." And this guy comes in and sees my shirt and says, "We used to play you in high school." So it's just crazy to me what a small world it can be at times. It's like, I never thought that anybody in Florence, Alabama would look at my shirt and know that it was Morgan City, Louisiana. Because we do have a Morgan City, Alabama. So anyway, that was funny. Also for another little thing that I picked up before the holidays, I needed to get a frame to finish one of my pieces, which I don't have the piece, but I will show you a picture in a minute. And I went to here in the Florence, Shoals, Alabama area. We used to have a Michael's and it closed. So now we just have Joann and Hobby Lobby as far as like to be able to go and get frames and stuff. So I actually drove one day when I was off to Madison, Alabama, because they opened a Michael's there. I don't know when in the last year. I didn't know they had opened it until we went to Huntsville for my birthday and drove that way. And I was like, hey, they have a Michael's in Madison. So, I mean, it was like a 40-minute drive maybe. So I went over there to get a frame for the piece that I needed to finish. And they had advertised buy one, get two free. So I got this one that currently the plan is that my Bloomtopia, which is the Stitch-Along Fat Quarter Shop, has coming up starting February 1st. That's my plan for that. And then I have, which you'll see a little later, but I have one of the Songbird series, and I want to put that in this, and I'll show you the pattern in a minute. But anyway, when I got up, I bought these two plus the other one that I needed to finish my boo jar. And when I got to the register, she rang them up, and it was not ringing up. It was not ringing up. Buy one, get two free. It was like buy one, get one, or something like that. So I just sort of said, wait a minute. So, of course, she had to call someone, get them on the phone. They found the sign that said, buy one, get two free. But she said that it had expired the day before. But she said since they had advertised it and didn't take the sign down, they had to honor it. So I got the deal. Excuse me, my throat's dry. So, yay, love that. And I forgot how much I love Michael's. Jeez. They just, I don't know. It's different than Hobby Lobby. I like all three of them, honestly. But Michael's just has a little bit more upscale as far as like the home decor and home organization stuff. They're the one in Madison, the cross stitch section is not that fantastic. They don't have a fabric counter anymore, so but the frames and things like that, really nice. Okay. While we were in Louisiana, one of the friends that we visited, she had a phone case, and I have been carrying my phone without a case for years. But she had a really pretty one. It wasn't this one exactly, but it was similar. And so when we got home, I went online and ordered me one. So, isn't that gorgeous? But the next day, like after I put that on, I was sitting at our, it's a high bar table in our breakfast nook area, and my phone fell from the high table to the floor. So I was very thankful that I had that case on it, because I had a feeling that it would have been kind of bad. Also for Christmas, leading up to Christmas, I'm a member of Blueprint, which is what Craftsy. It was Craftsy before. Now it's called Blueprint. I prefer Craftsy, the format and everything, but it's still good, and they run really great deals. So I think I don't remember if it came in my email, and I think it was 60 or 70% off or something. And I was looking at it on my phone while my husband was doing something in the room, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this has been on my wish list. And he's like, get it, it's your Christmas present. So it is this kit for the color block quilt. And it's all those luscious solids. So, yay! Merry Christmas to me! And he knew what his present was too. I guess when you get to a certain point, it's sort of like, maybe every other year we'll sort of surprise one another, but then it's sort of like, yeah, we already have everything we need, so it's just sort of to have something to open. Okay. So while I was in Louisiana, I snapped a photo of one of my previous stitches. And I'm sorry, y'all, looked at it a little bit this morning, and it was just sort of like, that's literally how I was looking at the computer. I need to take a class or something on editing videos, but I'm just going to show you the pictures that I need to show you on my phone. So I made this. It is and I'm sorry, there's sort of like a double glare. There was glare on the photo when I took it, of the light in the background, and then now there's glare from me shooting in here today. But this is a Bessie Pease Gussman print that I did in, let's see, 1988. So my oldest daughter was a year old, and I did that one for my mother-in-law, and paid to have it framed for her. I mean, that's just all we did back in those days, was we framed cross stitch. Also previous stitches, the very first quilt that I ever did, I made for the young man pictured here. He's not officially related to us, but we went to church with his parents. My husband went to high school with his dad, and we were just very close when our kids were little. So I cross-stitched these cute, cute, cute little baby scenes, sashed them, layered it, and tied it with the little ribbons. Had no idea about quilt making whatsoever, but that's one of my previous stitches. So, 2019, I kind of feel like I didn't get a whole lot done in 2019. 2020 seems to be starting off on a little better trajectory. Hopefully I can maintain the pace. But anyway, I sort of went through my phone, and I do have some that I can show you in person, but there are some that I don't have them anymore. So Let me show you the oldest. So last year, Project Linus, actually year before last, this was the Project Linus Mystery Challenge quilt. And it was called Sweet Violet's Bakery and Confectionery. And that's my only Project Linus quilt that I've hand quilted completely. I just felt like it needed hand quilting. Most of them I do them on the machine. I also did this string quilt for Project Linus. Did y'all know that there's a whole hashtag on Instagram called Men Holding Quilts? It really is a thing. Then my younger daughter is currently going through a divorce, but her wife has a 7-year-old daughter, and I did this for her birthday last year. This was from a Sew Sampler box. I think it's called the Sparkler Quilt, and it's using V & Company ombre fabrics. And that's just curved log cabin blocks. And I did hand quilt it. I hand quilt just about everything. Here's an exception to that rule. My son-in-law's brother got married this year, so I did him and his wife this quilt. This is also from Sew Sampler box. This is partially machine quilted and partially hand quilted. I couldn't hand quilt the whole thing because I was on a deadline. And let's see. This is also a lot of these are from Sew Sampler. My husband's birthday this year, I did him this quilt. It is called Easy Living. That was the name of the Sew Sampler pattern. I named it The Two Thrones of Men because it's chairs, and even though this is a lamp, we both sort of think that it looks like looking from an eagle's eye view of a toilet. So I named it The Two Thrones of Men, and he got that for his birthday. Then, let's see. So the young man that I showed you, the cross-stitch quilt, he and his wife just had their second child together. Her name is Emma Jean, and I made her this quilt. And that is also from Sew Sampler box, and it is hand quilted. Probably wouldn't be as much clear if I took this cover off, but I'm sorry, I didn't do that. And this is the back of it. You can see part of it. That those little half square triangles on the back were supposed to go on the front of the quilt, and I didn't like the way that looked, so I just did a little pinwheel block for the middle of the back of it. Then also finished in 2019 is my Sew in Love block of the month. This was an Edita Sitar pattern that Fat Quarter Shop did a block of the month on. And I did this one for my sister-in-law, Cindy, and her husband, Walter. And they both loved it tremendously. So I was very happy that they were so happy to get it. Love that. I just think it's so pretty, that fabric. Okay, so I guess I'm just going to do quilting things. Sorry, I forgot that I actually had the physical. I actually pulled the physical quilt itself to show you guys. I think the pattern in So Sampler had it on a lighter background, but I really wanted it on the dark background, so I just picked that dark up from Joanne. I also finished, and I think I've shown you this one already, but we're doing finishes for 2019, so this 2-color wonder, which was started back in 2011, and I finished it in 2019. Okay. Sorry, you had to see the top of my head. Okay. So for Project Linus, I have these 2 panels that someone donated. Actually, there's 4 altogether. There's 2 boy ones and 2 girl ones. I got 2 of them done in 2019. And I will finish the other 2 in 2020 and turn those in hopefully next month. We're having a blanket days meeting. Aren't those just the cutest? So on these, I'm doing a little bit of big stitch quilting around the central panel motif, the little boy and the dog and the little girl and the dog. And then the rest of it is getting done by machine. I for sure usually always do my Project Linus things by machine because I want them to get done quicker. Okay. So as far as cross stitch goes, I'm sorry, I don't know how long we're into this, 32 minutes, and I haven't even talked really a whole lot about cross stitch. Sorry guys, but this is FlossTube to me. So I also, for Christmas, gave my daughters the chalk full pieces that I had done. This is the Harvest, my beautiful daughter Kimberly. I picked that piece up, the plaque, at Joanne. The trim that's on the bottom right here, I had in my stash. The sunflower at the top was from Hobby Lobby. And then the yellow fabric I just picked up at Walmart. And then my younger daughter, Lakin, she got the boo jar. And this is what I had to go to Michael's to pick up, that frame. I got the fabric at Walmart. I had the rickrack in my stash. The ribbon I got off of Sugar Pink Boutique on Etsy. And used Java Girl Stitch's bow tutorial to make that bow. And here's both of them together holding their pieces. And I wish I had heard this before I gave these, but I just heard Stitch Rody talking about Daylene was so very grateful, saying that she takes a picture of herself holding her finished pieces and puts that on the back of her cross-stitch pieces. Now, I don't know if Daylene said this. I kind of feel like probably Anna at Stitch Roadies came up with this, but she said, I'm going to do that because when my kids go to donate these pieces to Goodwill, they'll see my picture on the back and go, oh, I just can't get rid of Mom. I thought that was pretty funny, but true. So I wish that I had put my picture on there. Okay, so that's my 2019. Doesn't seem like I've got very much actually finished. Oh well. So 2020 plans. I came up with a little, let me just, before I go into that, I'll just show you a few pictures from our trip. So this is pretty blue sky, Louisiana, South Louisiana blue sky. That's the three of us. We stopped at a little visitor center in Morgan City, Louisiana. That's built right on the edge of the swamp. And took some pretty pictures. And this is me and my daughter. We went by the park in Patterson, Louisiana, which is where we lived when our girls were growing up. And they have redone the park down there, and she was very upset because she said this would have been really nice when we were growing up. And then we just drove around different areas and sort of reminisced, and her and I got out and took a picture in front of my high school sign. So we had a really good trip. We hadn't done anything together with her, just her, in a while, so it was nice. Okay, so 2020 plans. So I came up with, Priscilla and Chelsea have their little daily schedule that they use, and I wanted to come up with my own. So what I came up with was Sampler Sunday, Merry Monday, Timely Tuesday, Wordy Wednesday, Thankful Thursday, Flora, Fauna, and Filigree Friday. Say that 3 times fast. And then Seasonal Saturday. So I'm just going to go through and sort of show you projects that I have going on in those categories. So for Sampler Sunday, and I got these project bags on Amazon. I'm sorry, people that make project bags, I really love seeing them. I would love if I could afford to buy one for every project, but I can't afford it. So I just got these, pack of however many off of Amazon for $12, and they'll have to do for now. But I just sort of divided them up like this bag right here, which is just an old purse that has no pockets in it. Who makes a purse with no pockets in it? So this is my Saturday Sunday bag. So for my Sampler Sunday, I signed up for Linen and Threads is they do a mystery sew along. I think they've done one 2017, maybe longer than that. For sure 2017, 18, 19, and now 20. And this is, they released the January one, of course. And so this is my choice. I kind of wanted to do this like solid color and rainbow. But with it being a mystery, I just didn't know, like, how would I know where to start one color and stop and all that? So I'm using a 14 count oatmeal Ada that I got at Joann, simply because this is a big piece. This is going to be 21 or so inches finished, 21 square. So I needed a big piece of Ada, and I didn't have a lot of money to spend. So, and then the color that I'm using is the 4211 DMC. These are called certain things, but I'm sorry, I don't remember what they're called. But anyway, let me show you on the little bobbin because you can see it a whole lot better. Sorry, I don't know what happened there, but If I were a floss, this is what I would be. Yes, indeed. So, I don't know. I may think about changing up colors throughout, during the year, because I might get tired of seeing that same thing, but I kind of doubt it because I really love it. So I also discovered that Hands Across the Sea samplers, they are doing a fundraiser for a couple of the firefighter brigades in Australia, and it's like 10 British pounds, which ended up being like $13 American, something like that, for a chart, a sampler chart, an Australian sampler to do a fundraiser. So I did buy that, but I haven't kitted it up or anything yet. So that's Sampler Sunday. Merry Monday had to have its own bag because I have quite a lot of stuff going on. This is another purse, which, that thing that I showed you in that book, the rainy day book, those might be kind of nice because they would stand up. So anyway, so my plan for 2020 for Merry Monday, I need to get back to stitching my shabby advent calendar. I got to like day 15 going backwards. So I got to do from day 1 to 14 in 2020. So that's the first thing. I started this on our trip in Louisiana. This is sorry guys, where's the cover? There it is. The Mary Chock-full jar, which I'm doing the club from Fat Quarter Shop. And this is what I've got done so far. Isn't that just the cutest? I'm not really into Santa, but I still think he's cute. And this is the flosses. All right. That's one. Another Merry Monday project. It has the jar, and then it also has the small. And then I got a little start on this. So to me, this could be, and this is the Quaker de Noël, Quaker Christmas from Jardin Privé. And that could go, I'm not married to, oh my God, it's Sunday, I can only stitch on these things. This could be either Merry Monday or Sampler Sunday. And that's what I've got done. And let's see. It's actually like this. So when I start stitching, I start in this corner if I can. The top right corner. So that's my Merry Monday plans for 2020 so far. Timely Tuesday is going to be things that I either, like the monthly series that I'm doing, the year's celebrations, those are kind of timely, or something that I'm like, okay, I have a deadline, I want to get this done. It's like things that it's time to stitch them. So let's see. Well, there it is. I did finish the January year celebrations, but I forgot to grab it before I came in here. So I'm working on February now, and this is where I've gotten so far. Isn't that just so cute? I don't know if these are buttons or flowers. I kind of took them as flowers when I first started it, and the colors were brown, and I didn't really like that. So I had gotten in my red Floss Fix from Fat Quarter Shop, so I just changed out the brownish color that they called for, which was Nutmeg, Gentle Arts Sampler Threads Nutmeg, or DMC 301, and I'm doing Bandana instead, Classic Colorworks. I did actually change up quite a few colors. The Schoolhouse Red, Gassed, I'm using Classic Colorworks Ribbon Red. The Week Star Works Acorn, I'm using 3031 DMC. The Gentle Arts Huckleberry, I'm using 775, this blue. And then the Gentle Arts Tea Rose, I'm using 225. And that's the center of the, I think it's buttons, but I honestly thought it was flowers when I first started. So I got that going. And this next thing that's on Timely Tuesday is one of those that can be in two categories, because my Wordy Wednesday, I also want to, I want to get this done so I can make a stitching bag. It's the Love My Stitching Bag, which is a collaboration between Hands On Design and So Much to Love. This is their version. And then this is my version. Shocking, I know it's purple and pink. And that's what I've got done so far. I think it's super cute. But anyway, that's one of those that, yeah, it's words, and so it should go on Wordy Wednesday, which, samplers could go words too a lot of times. I don't have it kitted up because I don't have the pattern anymore, but also on Wordy Wednesday, besides the Love My Stitching Bag, will be the Eat, Sleep, Stitch, Repeat. I gave that to our outgoing president of our guild because she's a cross stitcher. And she actually, I think she got it stitched up and she's going to turn it into a bag. So I just have to replace my pattern for that. And then Thankful Thursday, I'm going to continue working on the Autumn, Patchwork Autumn by Jardin Privé. And let's see, I worked on this some on the trip. We had 9 hours in the car, so hello. 9 hours in the car one way. So I was sort of working on that, and then I started working on the Mary Jar while I was down there, and then I went, dummy, you got to do the January year celebration. So I pulled that out and finished that. Well, I got a good bit of it done, probably 3/4 of it done on the way home, and then I finished it in the first couple of days of the new year. Let's see. I also, I guess Thankful Thursday is just sort of like fall things, a fall theme. Well, I don't have anything to show you on there because I hadn't started stitching it, but I still need to do the Boo jar, the Boo small, which that's one that can go either Thankful Thursday or Seasonal Saturday. Because even though I did Thankful Thursday, I was just sort of trying to come up with the names, but it's anything fall related. I also have the Plain with Jacks pattern, but I haven't gotten fabric or anything for it, and I ran out of project bags. So I don't have it in a bag. But that's on my list of things that I want to do. Now the flora, fauna, and filigree. So watching Jan Hicks, she's got some pretty amazing pieces that she's working on. And then she shared some patterns on a designer that I saw and went, oh my God, I haven't gotten any of her patterns yet. But I will link her below. It's Anna Lee Waite, Waite. Beautiful. She's got she's got all kind of different things, but man, the flowers and butterflies just really grabbed me. And then Jan's got some things that she's working on. One is called Shades of Gold, and it's just filigree. So I'm really drawn to that type of design. So I see some of those in my future. So I made that category the flora, fauna, and filigree. So Fat Quarter Shop, like I said a while ago, they're starting their Bloomtopia Sew Along. That's a fundraiser for Make-A-Wish. That starts in February. So that's part of my plan. I do have the threads. And I have the project bag. And I have the little needle minder that I bought, but I think part of it's missing. I mean, I just added a little magnet that I had, but I think it's supposed to have something. I don't know what happened to it, but anyway, these are the threads. And then I decided on the French lace 14 count Ada. And so that will do, that's one of those for flora, fauna, and filigree. And that's going to go in that white frame that I showed a while ago. That sort of looks like beadboard. And then the more ornate frame, this is what I bought that for. This is the Songbirds Garden Series number 5, the Bluebird of Happiness. This is Cottage Garden Samplings. And I love bluebirds. They're my favorite birds. So I want to stitch that this year. So when I was at Michael's, I found this 22 count Ada that I want to try my hand at hand dyeing to do a pinkish background. But you know what? There's a lot of pink stitching, so I been really wanting to try like a light green. So I may do that instead. And I don't have a timeline for that, but that's on my list of things to start. And then the seasonal Saturday, I haven't started this yet, but I will be. This came in while I was going to Louisiana. I've got the kit all ready to go. I got my 14 count chalkboard Ada and the flosses from Fat Quarter Shop Club. And it's the snowy chalk full jar in small. I adore snowmen, so that one is a must do. And I'm keeping it for myself. Okay, so that is my current stitching plans. I have one more. I wish I would have printed it out or something, but I didn't. But Susan Aki, the one that wrote the Scrappy Quilt book that I showed a minute ago, she is hosting through Aurifil a stitch along, like stitch of the month. I don't know what you call it. What do you call it? Just a stitch along. But anyway, it's they'll be releasing it 1 month at a time, and it is quilt blocks. So yes, I must do that. I'm not going to use Aurifloss. I'll use whatever colors I have in my stash, either the the over dyed, or DMC for that. So that's another thing that I have going on. And so that's my cross stitch plans for 2020. And I just sort of took a 2-page spread in my journal and wrote them out. And then I have my quilting plans. So in 2020, I am on a mission to make quilts for our siblings and our parents. I've already made one for my mother-in-law. My father-in-law is no longer with us. My mom is no longer with us. I need to make one for my dad this year. I made one for one of my sister-in-laws. I have 3 sisters-in-law altogether. And then I have 2 brothers. So I do have a top that's made for one of my brothers. It's a king-size Lone Star quilt. And the idea of basting it is overwhelming. I may get a long armor to baste it for me. And then I want to hand quilt it. But I honestly don't think that's going to happen in 2020. Because in 2020, I want to get my dad's done. My younger daughter is turning 30. And when my older daughter turned 30, I made a quilt for her. So I want to make a quilt for my younger daughter for her 30th. The quilt behind me, back here, that is a baby quilt that I'm working on for the young man that I showed, the cross-stitch quilt. His sister is having her first baby in May, so that will be for her. They're having a boy, so got that going right now. I want to get some more done for Project Linus because I didn't do hardly anything last year as far as completing it and turning it in. I'm holding on to the little boy and girl ones because I have the other ones. And I don't know, I just have it in my head that there's going to be quadruplets. That boy, girl, and they just need to have these. So I've got that basted at our stitching group. We meet once a month here in Rogersville on the first Tuesday of every month at the United Methodist Church. If you live in the area and you want to come just check us out, we meet from 9 till about 3, first Tuesday of every month. So at this past, and I guess really that's why I didn't get a whole lot done. It seemed like my work schedule, we used to be able to just sort of adjust our schedule accordingly, and then now they're on this ridiculous tear of we have to be in this rotation, and it's so complicated and convoluted, and we get flack for wanting to change it. It's annoying because that was a big reason why I took the job, was that I had flexibility, that I, had days off during the week and I could choose which days I wanted off so that I could go to my quilt guild and go to my Project Linus. Well, the last half of the year in 2019, I was working on our Linus days, so I didn't get a whole lot done. But I am going to be off on Linus days, I think at least the first 4 months of this year, so I'll be able to get back into the swing. So anyway, this past Tuesday was our meeting day, and I got the 2, the cowboy and cowgirl ones basted, and I got the little big stitch part quilted on him. And then I also got this basted for Project Linus. And this was when I did my Sew in Love, which was the red and cream quilt that I did for my sister-in-law and brother-in-law. The author of that book, Aditya Sitar, she recommends when you're doing a new block to make a practice block. So I had some little fat quarters that I had gotten on clearance at Walmart by Waverly of this little anchor fabric. Isn't that just so cute? So each month before I did the block for the quilt, I would do a practice one. And this is the little sampler quilt that I came up with. So I got that basted. So I want to get those 3 things finished quilted for Project Linus. And we're meeting on February 14th. Like, usually once a quarter, we have a big meeting in Huntsville, Alabama, at Holmes United Methodist Church. If you're in the area and you're looking to get involved, to give back with your quilting or crochet or sewing, please check us out. It's Project Linus of Huntsville. But anyway, in February we have like a 2-day meetup every quarter roughly. And so our first one this year is in February. So if I don't, whatever I don't get done at meeting in February, our local in Rogersville, I'll bring them to the big meeting and finish them there. And then, let's see, I had a little slip of paper that had, there it is. So I want to do the cowgirl and cowboy, the sew sampler. I have the mystery one, which I showed y'all last video before, the second to last one, I don't remember, but anyway, I've shown this one before, but this one needs to be quilted. Basted and quilted. We have I have a box of some things that, it's tops that were donated to Project Linus that are, they just need a little reworking and then quilting. So I want to get those done. And then we had a lady that was a quilter who passed away, and her sister donated a bunch of Oriental fabric to us. So I did make one little, it wasn't, she donated it to our Project Linus coordinator for our local group. But it wasn't like, you have to use this for Project Linus. But I'm not really into Orientals. So I did do a quilt along that I did last year, the year before, I don't remember. I made a quilt with some of it, but I have a lot left, so I want to use that. Someone did a quilt with some Orientals with black sashing in between, some just like not piece blocks, just pieces of fabric cut, and it's really pretty. So that's sort of brewing in the back of my mind of something that I want to do. So also, you can see on the wall behind me the pretty butterflies and flowers. That is the Goodness Grows quilt, which is in the Sew Sampler box this year. It runs from April through March. And I got caught up on those, and I actually started putting some of them together. You can see right there, I started putting some of the blocks together. So I have that on my list to do this year. I'm going to finish the baby one before May. And then I'll just show you. This is sort of how I keep my projects together, my quilting projects. And well, I usually have a little clipboard. Oh, it's over there. But anyway, I just started cutting it out. But I will, I'm putting my finger over that because I don't want you to see the dimensions. But anyway, this is the A pieces that I needed for the quilt. That's all I've got cut out so far. I have a rough goal of having that done for Father's Day, but if it doesn't work out, I'll push it back to, you know, Christmas. I'm sorry, I didn't realize the clipboard with the picture on it is across the room, and I've got stuff all in the way, so. But this is the Acorn Caps quilt, which is on the wall behind me, the start of it. So, I've told you before, I'm sort of an organization-like geek, and I mean, many of you are going to think, God, this is so anal, but this is just how I do it, how I roll. You don't have to do it this way. You don't, just keep the negative comments to yourself. But anyway, um, I go through and write down from the pattern each step. Oh gosh, each step that needs to be done. And I give myself a deadline of this baby's due in May. So I want this quilt to be finished by April the 15th. So this is my the main sheet that shows my hashtags for it. This is sort of a little bar, a progress bar, the pattern name, who I'm making it for, my goal date, start date, which I haven't filled in, finish date. I do a planning little thing, and I've started putting a scripture on the labels of my quilts sometimes. So I want to do a Mighty Oak verse because it's called Acorn Caps. Then the finished size, and then I always include a little thing on what I learned from the project. So anyway, I have it all planned out. So, and I basically work backwards from, you know, my 4:15 deadline. I want to be by 4:12. I want it to be washed, and you know, and then I count backwards, like how long do I think it's going to take me to quilt a fourth of it, and so on. That just helps me to, one, be able to pick up, like if I, you know, let's say my week goes really crazy this week and I don't have a chance to get to it for several weeks or something, I can just get this clipboard and I know exactly what step I'm on and what I need to do next. I don't have to spend time trying to figure out what stage of the process I'm on. Also, it helps me to look at it like, I mean, just because, you know, this due date for starching is not until February, I started it. So, you know, it doesn't mean I have to wait until February to do it. It just means that in order to have it done by that date, so that, you know, okay, I'll do some on it and something insane happens. Usually what happens is somebody has a baby and it's like, oh, I got to stop what I'm doing and make another baby quilt for somebody else. And it'll sort of interrupt it. I can just look at that and see, okay, I'm still on schedule, or man, I really got to step it up and get these things done. And not everything that I do has a deadline, but when it does, I sort of, and having a deadline really helps because it motivates you to finish. At least it motivates me. But anyway, it helps. I forgot what thought I had. The things that do have a deadline, I want to be able to plan it out to the date. And I, you know, try to be realistic on how long it's going to take me to do the different steps. So, the other big thing on my quilting list for the year is to make one for my daughter who's turning 30. So, I had, you know, I showed you that blueprint kit that I got. That's, you know, one of many that I've gotten from them. I mean, and y'all, this is, let's see. This is a full picture of it. I want to say this is, I mean, this makes a 72 by 90 quilt. And usually there's about 12 to 16 yards in these things. And I think I got this one for like $50 on that sale. So when I see them go on sale like that, I snap them up. So I said all of that to say that I had one in mind that I was going to do for my daughter for her birthday. And this is it. So the night before our trip, Christmas night, she came and spent the night here so that we could just easily leave in the morning. And I had opened that one that I just showed you that I got from Blueprint, and I was like, I really wasn't, like, I wasn't sure, and I wanted it to be something, not that I want her to know what she's getting. I mean, I would like it to be a surprise, but I would like her to like it more than I want it to be a surprise. So I pulled several things that I sort of had in mind, including the one that I had in mind, the one that I just showed you that I got for Christmas. And then this one's another one that I picked up a while back, that I sort of had loosely had in mind for one of my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, but I got another one that fits them better. So this is Quilter's Quandary, and it's 102 by 102, but these are the fabrics. And she sort of picked out, I mean, she said, you know, I really like the color. I mean, these are her colors, really. She also liked the other one that I just got, this one. And I'm going to do her this one. So on my list for today, or sometime this week at least, I'm off today. I work tomorrow. I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, and then I work Friday and the weekend and Monday. So either today or Wednesday or Thursday, I will be sitting down with this pattern and going through it and doing what I just showed you on the clipboard. Her birthday's in October, so I will work back from probably October 1st, somewhere in there, and see, like, you know, how soon I need to start it to realistically finish it by then. So that's my main quilting plans. I do have a pretty large stack of sew sampler boxes that I haven't gotten to, and I have decided that March, I can't decide March or April, because the April one is always the birthday box, but I kind of don't want to get that because they'll start a new block of the month and then I'll be like, oh, I really want to do that, I need to continue. I'm not going to. I think I'm going to end it in March. I'm going to end my membership, so that will open up a spot for someone. If you've been waiting to jump on that, just put yourself on the wait list and see what happens. But anyway, I'm gonna let that go. I do want to. I've got the floss fix that I started, and I think I want to start one of their cloth clubs for cross stitch. They are doing a Christmas block of the month that'll start in July, that I signed up for. One of the other sales that they had leading up to the holiday was a 1 penny reservation fee. So I reserved a baby quilt book that I think will be a really good resource for my Project Linus stuff. And I reserved the block of the month, the Cora Yoder Christmas quilt. I'm sorry, I don't know I'm drawing a blank on what the name is, but anyway, that'll start in July. So that'll free up, you know, money if I let the sew sampler go. And like I said, I've got quite a bit in reserve that are just sort of stacking up and I haven't been able to get to them. I think that's it. I think that's all I've got for you guys today. Lord knows this is long enough, an hour and 13 minutes. Sorry, guys. But I had a lot of stuff because it's been about a month and a lot of stuff to talk about. Just making sure that is it. I think it is. Wish me luck getting all these things done. Just want to say thanks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. My grandson asked me one day, I don't know, we were talking, joking around. I was like, you know, I'm a YouTube star. And he was like, how many subscribers do you have? And I was like, probably like, I don't know, 20. And he sort of chuckled. And then when I went back and looked, I think it's in the 60s. So I'm thinking maybe, I don't want to wait till 100. I'm thinking maybe at 75 subscribers, I might have a giveaway. So stay tuned for that. Share the video, share my channel, like it, subscribe, and maybe I'll see you next week. We'll see how much I get done during the week, if I have anything to share or not. I did make a little order for some fabric, and then I ended up going to Joann and bought that fabric, but I'll have some stash that'll be coming. So I'll have a few things maybe to share, and some progress on some quilts and some stitching projects. Okay, bye guys.